Thank you for that intro. Good. I was not trying to see where my camera was. Uh, Super excited to be here. First of all, I want to thank Luke for putting this on and Leanne for being our host today. And there was a lot of amazing speakers. I hope that all of you are able to tune in and get as much value as you can today. And I want to just quickly give a background on me. Again, I know that Leanne introduced me, but I, like many of you, probably transitioned out of the military, not really knowing what I wanted to do. I kind of was like, well, I was in the Army, I was a leader, I kind of had a specialty in logistics, I'll kind of go into that world. And obviously, when you transition to that, it's not always exactly the same as it was in the military. We're missing a lot of those shared value sets. And so you have to kind of navigate your way. And I went through those up and downs and eventually decided, hey, I should be in this online business world. I need to work for myself, and then had to go and learn all the hard things about running your own business. And so if you're thinking about getting into business, yes, there's things that you're going to have to learn. Or if you are in business, you probably have figured out there's a lot of different ways that you can go. And there's so many strategies that can work for you. And many of them will, if you just stick to them. The way I found, and what I should want to share with you guys today, is the way that I found has been some of the easiest ways to do business, but also the most fun ways to do business. And so I call it, Force Multiplier. And the title of my presentation here that I'm going to share with you for a few minutes is you really are one force multiplier away from changing your business or your life. This could absolutely help you, even if you're wanting to work your way up in corporate America and become an executive one day. This is exactly how to do it. And I wanted to make things simple because there is a business concept, and it's really honestly a kind of a life concept in relationships, your health, like literally anything, is that the more complex it is, the harder it's going to be. They say complex fails, but simple scales. And I wanted to make things as simple as I could today. So let's get into the next slide here so I can show everybody. So what we're going to cover, I'm going to show you guys how a lot of times when they do in business, they focus on, hey, you need to generate a bunch of leads. And leads are awesome. But honestly, you should be focused on buyers instead of leads. I'm going to show you that. You're going to be able to do it without ads. You don't have to have complicated technology and funnels, or you don't have to chase people down. And so I'm going to kind of describe the difference between being a lead generator and a force multiplier, and show you a solution to finding your people that make all this possible. So let's go next slide. We go in here. So real quick story. As I said, I got into corporate America. I tried a couple of different things. Wasn't for me. Got hired at a small business to take all the expertise that I'd gained over my military career and my short corporate career that was about 3 or 4 years. And they said, hey, we want to expand. We'd love to start growing this into being an actual business. It was a home service-based business, had a couple of trucks that did the things. And, we're really raring to go. And they were doing about $1.5 million. Well, actually, it's a little bit less than that, but that's easy math for me. And when I got there, there was a whole lot of disorganization, as you can imagine, right? And us being military, we're all about hyper organization and having, lots of different departments to do different things and have like a system for everything, right? Inventory, maintenance, all that. So I was putting all that into place. And then I found out that 80% of the business that they were getting at this small company, because they weren't using ads, they weren't putting things out there. They were in a couple of books with real estate agents, but realistically, 80% of their business came from just one source. And it was a referral source that they had. They partnered with a home inspector that anytime that they had something that they could use them, they would hire this company to go do the work. And fortunately, about 2 months after I started working there, while I was trying to figure out how to help this business grow, that referral source went away. I passed away. And his entire business went with him. And so, the owner of this company that had hired me looked at me and said, hey, we've got to find a way to replace this, or unfortunately, I'm going to have to let you go. We've got about 2 months before, we're going to have to make that decision. So I said, man, I've got to replace this. And I started thinking about, okay, I need to replace about $1 million worth of business in order to keep my job. And so how do I do that? And so if we go to the next slide, I'll show you kind of what my goal was here. Because if, I looked at, I had a $1 million goal the average service that we did when we kind of calculated things up for every time we got a job was about $1,000, which meant I would need to do about 1,000 sales. And so I started thinking about, okay, how can I go find how can I go replace 1,000 sales? And in most home service-based businesses, like especially if you've been in things like roofing, or you might have been somewhere where people go knock on your door, like that's like direct going to go find the client, right? And I was like, man, that's going to be a lot of work for me, because I was in charge. I'm from the Austin, Texas area. It's a major metro. Like, how am I going to go and cover this entire territory and find 1,000 jobs this year? So that way I can justify my job and get in here. And just, if I go to the next slide, when you would look at it, if you really look at this math this way, this is what I think, and you might be thinking, that's a lot of work. I don't know how to do that. That's a little bit much for me. And I was kind of a sales guy. That's kind of where I was cutting my teeth in corporate America. So I was like, I know I could do this, but I had to have a simpler way. And so if I go next slide, I'll show you a little bit of what this looks like, because there is a difference between being, again, in lead generation, or because that's what we want to do. Well, you know, most people are doing it wrong. Sorry, I can't see my slides coming up, guys. So I just got myself out of order. But most people are doing it wrong. It becomes one-man army. And that's what I was doing at first, right? I was like getting on social media and posting. I was trying to dabble in advertising to try to see and spend a little bit of money on ads or pay-to-play sites to try to get more leads in. I was building a website that had all of this functionality and trying to lead people a certain way. I was, you know, calling people or going on knocking on doors. You're trying all the different things. It becomes shiny object syndrome. And if you've ever done that, you know, right? You're always trying the next great new thing. But the results is I was obviously burning the candle at both ends. I was getting burnt out. I would have, you know, a couple of good weeks, and then I would have 3 slow weeks, right? Because I could, you know, trying to manage all of that was really difficult. It was obviously costly if you're using something like ads. You don't have as much leverage as you think, and the response rates would be low. You'd get ghosted, or, you know, and there was just constantly being under pressure. And so this is where I had to kind of make a little bit of change in what I was doing. Let's go next slide. Because again, it's not leverage, it was survival. I was just scrapping and chasing as much as I could. And it was really, really very stressful. And at the time I had a 1-year-old and a baby on the way, right? So I was stressed out all the time, figuring out how am I going to keep my job. Let's go next slide. So here we are, we're going lead generator versus force multiplier. Because a lot of times when you're in a moment like what I was talking about, everybody will tell you, hey, leads are the way. You got to have more leads. And leads are great. But what I found is that there's a better way to do it. So let me define what these terms mean. A lead generator, if we go to the next slide, lead generation is really more about prioritizing the growth of your audience, right? Getting more and more people into your world. And there's good data to show why that's important, because the path to profitability really starts with visibility. If you don't have the business that you want, chances are a good reason for that is not enough people know who you are or know about your business or what you can do. So you prioritize the growth of your audience and let time eventually produce the sufficient amount of clients or income that you want. Same thing in corporate America. If you can't get the roles that you want, it's not enough people know who you are, and certainly not enough of the right people know who you are. But it's the same thing in business. Whereas a force multiplier, this is what I wanted to focus on. If we go to the next slide, is a person or a business that's already built that audience. They already have that trust and they already have the distribution. Let me show you a couple of examples. Go next slide. Apple is a little company that most of us have heard of, I think, right? It's worth massive amounts. They do billions of dollars worth of business. They have over 380 partnerships. Yes, they have a website and they have things that they do internally, but a lot of that business comes from partnerships that they've generated. The Girl Scouts, they did $256 million just last year, but there's no storefront. They don't have their own stores. They partner with other people, or they go to other storefronts that have their customers be able to sell. IBM has 100+ partnerships. Elvis Presley, the Elvis Presley estate, generated $100 million in 2025. But he died in 1977, and that's because his estate has partnerships and licensing deals with a lot of different people that generates income. And that's the kind of thing I wanted to tap into, is that concept. So if I go next slide, I'll show you exactly how this works, because I had a new goal of what I was going to do, is how could I find the ways and how could I leverage this concept? Because a force multiplier already has the trust. They already have the audience. They already have the relationships. They already even have distribution to their clients. And the good thing about somebody who is a force multiplier, or somebody who's already built this, is they want more of it. They don't want to lose it. And you can come in and you can provide different solutions, different offers, a different expertise, or different value that partners with them, that pairs with what they do. And together you can create more success, easier sales, faster growth. Next slide. So if I go back to my goal, I thought, well, trying to get 1,000 sales was really difficult. But what if I could set up 10 partnerships that brought me 100 sales each on average? Well, that felt a lot easier, because now I could focus on finding the right partnerships. And I started thinking about, who was this guy that gave all this business? Well, he was a home inspector. And so, he happened to bring us in on every job that he had. And so well, how could I find more of him? And so I ended up setting up these partnerships, and I went everywhere I could to go meet people who already had a book of business, who already did this, and they needed somebody who could do what we did. And I was able to not only replace that business, but we actually did more business. We did almost double in the next 12 months after I started doing this. Let's go next slide. So, and then here's the thing that people tell me. They go, that's all well and good, Justin, but like, nobody will partner with me. Like, nobody knows who I am. I don't have, social proof. I don't have all this other stuff. Like, and I go, like, that's, totally nonsense. But I'm going to show you exactly how this works. Go ahead. Let's go forward. What we do is I do a process that they call search for near. These are naturally existing economic relationships. I'll show you a few examples. Let's go to the next slide. So, because the opportunity is usually already around you, one relationship can change the game for you. So here's some examples of roofers. They have suppliers that could send them referrals. They also could partner with people like real estate agents, or to my example, home inspectors would be a good one. Other people who serve that same customer, but they don't provide the value that you do. You can fill a gap or offer an extra service that makes them look good, or helps the customer have a better experience. If you're in the coaching, like, okay, well, there's software tools. There might be other coaches, right? Coaches have different experiences, right? I've been in the coaching world. You've already heard from Leanne today, right? Leanne's in the coaching world. She's in the executive space, but I might have an expertise that could partner with her and help her look even better with her clients, and they could get even better results with her. Financial advisors. Okay, well, what kind of a financial advisor? Are there people who are doing investing in stocks? There are people who are doing crypto, right? There's all kinds of different ways that you can partner, but also, who else partners with clients that work with a financial investor? Events. Okay, this is an example I can actually give you for myself. I have a friend of mine who I met about 3 years ago. He had a massive Facebook group where he was serving as a coach and selling his coaching program, but he had like 11,000 people in this Facebook group, but he wasn't doing a ton of business there. And he was doing his coaching as kind of a separate business from what he actually did full time. And so he's like, man, I just need a different way to be able to, I wish that this was being more profitable, because I'd like to be doing this more full time. Well, I have an expertise in being able to run in a virtual event just like this and organize it in a way where it's easy for people to understand what they're getting and what transformation that they can achieve, and having real confidence that this is the next step for them, where it's easy for them to make the next decision. And you don't have to do any sales calls. You can just do one event and show people what it is and be able to monetize the people who do attend. We did that, and on his very first try, he did $60,000 in sales in his first attempt at that, after we planned it for about a week. And so it was pretty awesome. And so we were able to partner in that, and it's really cool. Personal trainer, same thing. Have you help people with their health, maybe something you can partner with the nutrition, maybe other types of coaches. There's so many ways. And most people want to look for sales. They want to look for leads. I say you should look for people who already have your customers and find ways to fill that gap to make it, and it's more fun because we were built to be social, because now you're building together, and they are everywhere. You never know where they are. So I'll go next slide. I'll just say, for everyone, and I know I had to go fast with this, like, you really are just one relationship. You're one force multiplier away from changing your business or your life. So if you don't do anything else, and this is something that you can do all the time, like there are certainly great places to do this. I'll show you on the next slide. I personally love to use LinkedIn because it's a tool that's meant for using, for doing networking in this way. And you can do it for business. If you've ever been on LinkedIn, you can certainly send messages and go try to find clients. But I built a system in order to build conversations that I could partner with people on. And it is so much more fun. And you can build an entire way and an entire system that allows you to do this each and every day and wake up to conversations in your inbox. I never run ads. I have like a 1-page funnel that I use if I ever use one. I don't do any spam. And it just starts generating conversations with people where I can help fill a gap and I can help solve problems, and everybody wins. It's so much fun. I'd love to talk to you guys more about that. If you want to meet me in the breakout rooms, let's go to the next slide. But realistically, if you want to focus on anything in your business, focus on finding the right people. Meet the people that already have achieved the audience that you want to work with, and go and find ways that you can fill that gap and you can provide the value, because I'm telling you, you're gonna have a whole lot more fun in your business. Even if you're just starting, you can use this process. So connect with me on LinkedIn. Here's my LinkedIn profile. Or if you want to chat a little bit more about how this might work for you, meet me in the breakouts and I'll show you how you do it. Anyway, thank you guys so much. I hope you have a wonderful summit here. Got lots of great speakers, and it's been awesome to be able to be here. Thank you, Luke and Leanne.